नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांता स्वामी नीति नामिने सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी भाष्यत्यादि सतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंदा जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंदा जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंदा Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jayo Panchatattva, Jayo Panchatattva, Jayo Panchatattva, Jayo Panchatattva. Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Sri Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Sudarshana. Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Bhakta Hanuman, Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Bhakta Hanuman. Jaya Gauranika, Jaya Gauranika, Jaya Gauranika, Jaya Gauranika. Jaya Kala Narvik Hari Hari Bol. Thank you.
Thank you, Sunil, for wonderful feedback. So everyone can move like this. So now the next program is the Bhagavad Gita lecture, Sunday festival. So everyone can turn around the feast. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Welcome everybody. So before we start today's session, we will have a small kirtan and then we will start with our today's class. So Hare Krishna.
जय हो
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिधर today we will be discussing about a very special topic which would hopefully be helpful for everyone. So, like, we are all here to know more about God, to worship Krishna. So, one question which perpetually might come in our life sometimes, or someone might ask us, is what is the relevance of the scriptures in today's time? Because often we hear the word as mythologies, as well as we think how much relevant they are today because they have been written so long before. So today we are going to discuss what's the relevance of scriptures in today's time and how they can help us in today's time. So before we start that, we'll offer some prayers and then we'll start the session. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa-kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta-padakamanam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsa Shri Rupam Sagar-jatam Sagar-raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana-sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakan Vitamsa He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurani Sri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sati Devi Pranamami Haripriye वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशकारिणे Alright, so welcome everybody, Hare Krishna. So, as we said, we'll be first discussing what's the relevance of scriptures in today's time. So, before we deep dive into the topic, let's try to understand what is the meaning of Shastra or scriptures. Why do we have them at the first place? So that we can then understand what's its relevance and what's its need in today's time. So, like everybody of us, by default have an authority in our life. Authority in the sense whom we follow. Like we ask from them and follow their instructions in our life. So that because we agree that they know better and they can guide us in our life. So, yeah.
Praise.
Yeah. So, can someone give some examples of authorities which we usually follow? Everybody of us.
Parents.
Yeah, perfect, yeah.
Teachers.
Right.
Government.
Perfect, yeah. Who else that?
Krishna.
Yeah, that's good.
Guru.
All perfect.
Mentor.
Yeah. Right. Alright, thank you so much. So yes, so these are these people whom we follow. Why? Because we have an implicit faith that they are there for us to guide us in the right direction. They will guide us in the right direction and they know better than us. That is the implicit faith which we have. Like in the Shastras and many of the Prabhupada books, it's being said that obviously the first authority which we will have is our mother. Because that's obvious. And it is through the mother we are going to know who our father is. The person whom mother shows that this is your father, he is whom we will accept as our father. And we never question that, what's the proof that this is my father? No, we never ask this. Not even myself. And in the same way, even if we go to the school, as we said, teachers. So, teacher has taught us 1 plus 1 equal to 2. Even there we have never questioned that. Because 1 plus 1 equal to 2, A is like this and we say this as A. So, we have never questioned these things. Because we accept that teacher is going to guide us in the right direction. So, going on in the same way as I was brought up in India. So, obviously after college and 12th, we search out for good colleges for doing our masters and bachelors and all those things. So in that place also what we do, like we have a hunting job, just like job hunt, we also do college hunt. So what we do, we try to find a good college where there are good professors and where the syllabus is up to date, so that our future will also be bright. So that's why what we do in fact our parents do all the research and say this college you apply, this is the criteria, so you study like this. So what we do, we study like that. So there if we see, we are trying to find what is the right, from that we understand who is the best authority in college. So, like if all the professors are all up to date, and if the college is autonomous or not, is it accredited by any AAC in Mumbai? We say here it is QQI. So in that way we try to find the best source. So if authority is the source, even I can keep on saying, like airlines, we booked a flight ticket giving 500 euros. That after 3 months he will send us a flight or he will give us the money back. We have implicit faith because we know that this person has been running this airline show for a long time, so we have that credibility. So we can go on for that. But the main thing is we have implicit faith on many things. So we are keeping faith. It is not blind. We are keeping faith in everything. But that faith is based on an authority. It is not blind faith. So when this faith is applicable for material knowledge, just like as we all see, the same applies to spiritual knowledge. So spiritual knowledge is not some rocket science or blind faith. So there also we keep our faith on an authority. So in that case what we do, we accept an authority even in our spiritual life, because material life we need knowledge from an authority. In the same way spiritual life also we need a knowledge from an authority. We can't do it ourselves. Just like, for example, if someone says, for example, if I have to do an operation in my leg, for example, and if the doctor by chance while a small talk, that time what he says, that I learned to do surgery by doing a course in Udemy. I will not go for it. Why? Because he has not learned from a professor in medical college. So in the same way, even spiritual knowledge has to be learned under a proper guidance, so that we can understand what is the real content within it. Of course, spiritual knowledge, even if we study by ourselves, it has the benefit. But if you want to really understand and if you want to really live it, then you need an authority so that we can truly understand its meaning and we can live it. Is my pace comfortable for everyone?
Yes.
Yeah. So saying what happens? So as we said, for college, what we see, that professors are good, it is accredited, and it is recognized college, and the syllabus is up to date. So these three things we generally see. So in the same way, if we switch it to spiritual perspective, the recognized college becomes sampradaya or parampara. So that is where we can put our faith. That is it coming from a parampara. So then next question comes is syllabus. So is the syllabus up to date? So syllabus for us is Shastra. And when we come to the question of professors, it becomes Sadhu, Guru and Vaishnavas and devotees and all. So when we have this, the Parampara and Shastra and Sadhus, then we are going to get the perfect knowledge and we will be able to understand the knowledge perfectly. So that is the reason we need to check these things before we enroll to spiritual knowledge. Otherwise what happens? Then we get stuck with some swindler, and then we say, I put my trust on spirituality and that person, talk to me. So that's why what happens? That we need to check before we approach anything, otherwise we get stuck there. So this is the basic knowledge. And why do we need Shastra and why do we accept Shastra? Now we understood how Shastra comes. But why should I accept Shastra even then? Why only that is the syllabus? Why not something else?
This is the only way.
Yeah, of course. But why is it Shastra the only way?
Shastra is all there is.
Sorry?
Shastra is all there is. It's God.
Yeah, that's true. But if someone says that why should I read Shastra? I can think myself and I can write Shastra myself.
Because we're not wise enough as Lord Krishna to make our own stuff. So
Right.
Shastra was said by Lord Krishna.
Exactly, yeah.
Though that's coming from parampara, like authority.
Yes, right.
It's like basically the way you said about Udemy. It's like performing a surgery without ever reading books and you're directly performing because you just wanted to do it.
Yeah, right. So basically what happens, if we go boil it down more further, then we conclude from the Shastras itself that even if someone thinks that, okay, fine, I understand that for spiritual knowledge I need to refer Shastra, okay, I understand, because that is the syllabus. And if someone says, if I can write my own Shastra, because you say Shastra is the source, so let me write my own Shastra, then the problem is, it gives us 4 defects, which everybody of us have. The first defect is imperfect senses. So when we have imperfect senses, then what happens? Our eyes are imperfect, just like we say that show me God. But unfortunately, at least here, at least we don't have much power cuts. But in India, if there is power cut and it is 9 p.m., basically I can't even see my own hand. And for example, even for hearing, there is a limit, 20 hertz to 20,000 kilohertz, megahertz. So till then only I can hear. So in that way we can say even there is a diffraction of light, refraction of light. Just like we are able to see this is blue, the sky is blue, but actually it is not blue. It is basically diffraction of light, that's why we feel it is as blue. So in that way we can see that our senses are imperfect. Going on with that, that doesn't end there. So because I have imperfect senses, which includes my mind, because I can make mistakes, I can think that probably I can plan, okay, so it is 4 kilometers, the bus takes this much time, so probably I can reach temple from my home at 30 minutes. But unfortunately, something happens. I walk slow or bus comes quicker and all these things, life happens. So in that way what happens? When we have imperfect senses, then what happens? We can make mistakes. So there is a real incident that once what happened, that the pipe manufacturing company, they wanted to create a pipe for water distribution. So what happened, they instead of taking the pi value, because it's a circle, so instead of taking it as 3.14273, they take up to 18 decimals. But he took only up to 3.14, only 2 decimals, which we do in our colleges. So unfortunately what happened, when in real life it is little bit different than our college studies, we can see. So what happened when he did the same thing, his college work in here, so one pipe fitted properly because it was done by another mechanic, and this person when he created, this went smaller, so they couldn't get connected. So basically what happens, that we can make mistakes, which is obvious, to err is human. Then the next thing what happens, we make mistakes but we come to know very late, it is obvious. I thought, many times in my school times, I had written a paper, minimum out of 80 I should get 65, 70. But at the end my professor writes, it is 55 or something, 40, 50, 55. So I stay illusioned. And finally, not everybody accepts their mistakes. So cheating propensity. So these 4 things are always there. I can say, the other person can say, no, what you have written is actually wrong in this so-called Shastra you have written. But I will say, no, it is not wrong, you are wrong. So all these 4 fighting will go on. So that is the reason we need to accept an authority. Because I can say 1 plus 1 equal to 3. But obviously I am wrong. Only a teacher can say who is an authority. So in the same way in spiritual knowledge, we need Shastra which can guide us what is right and what is wrong. And Shastra is coming from Supreme Lord himself. That is the reason they are perfect. So now we understand why we need to refer to Shastras for our spiritual life. But finally, the question comes is, okay, fine, I understand. For spiritual life, I need an authority. And authority is Shastra because it is coming from Krishna himself. But what is the proof that it is relevant even today? Because that is the main question which we get today. So when we come to that question, I am also going to refer how Shastra are going to solve our today's problem. Both of them I will be covering. So what happened in today's time is that there was, in 1960s and 70s, it was very famous to try to find the source of life. That from where did life come from? They say that it came from amoeba, and from amoeba everything happened. It all started from Big Bang and all. Unfortunately, even today scientists say it is as theory only. We can say law of thermodynamics, law of gravity, law of motion. And in one place we have Big Bang theory. Darwin's theory of evolution. There is a reason behind why they have kept it only a theory and not a law. So basically what happened, when they tried to find the root cause, how did life start at first? Okay, amoeba was first. Let's try to understand how did amoeba also come, because that is the meaning of finding the source of life. So they found out that the principle of life is based on 3 things. First is DNA, and DNA or RNA. Second thing is protein, and third thing is cell membrane. Because cell membrane, then protein because it's needed for cell membrane, and DNA, which will give us the blueprint of how to construct. So they successfully came till here, because which is right. But the problem, the chicken and egg problem which came was, for DNA, which is the blueprint. Everybody will think, obviously we need a DNA so that there will be some construction. We need a blueprint from civil engineer so that we can build a building. So obviously DNA should be first, which is what they also thought. But unfortunately, for a DNA to be constructed, those strands and all those things, they need protein and cell membrane to be present already, so that the DNA can be formed at the first place. So they said, okay, fine. So if DNA needs protein and cell membrane, then probably they would be, coming first. So we'll try to find who came first in those two things. So they went to find out cell membrane. So when they went to cell membrane, they found out that cell membrane needs protein, because we know we need to eat protein so that our muscles will grow. So it needs protein as well as the size of the cell membrane. Our eyes cells are different, liver cells are different. So that needs DNA, which has the blueprint. So for a cell membrane, we need protein and DNA. And when they came to, now they understood something is wrong. And when they came to protein, they need obviously cell membrane, because body, our liver decomposes the cells and then creates new cells. So for our protein, it needs cell membrane and DNA, how to process them. So here they again got stuck. Okay, this is why they evolution, they couldn't find out what's the root cause. Because DNA needs the other two and vice versa. So this is how we can understand that the source of life could not be found scientifically. And that is the reason there are many scientists. For example, his name was Mr. Y.P. Yockey. You can find out in our internet as well. And as well as many scientists like Newton and Einstein, all have agreed that the more we are trying to find the root cause, more we are convinced that there is some higher power who is doing all those things. So in that way we can understand, when they concluded this, that is when actually they turned to Eastern philosophy. That what is the, okay, we have done all the scientific research, we don't get anything, let's see what's there in the other side. The grass is always greener on the other side. So they went the other side. So that is when they got access to Shastra. Well, whatever happened past is fine, it's a whole different topic. But main thing is, that is where you can find even Einstein saying that he reads Gita daily and he gets much knowledge. So that is also one of the quotes of Einstein. So when they went to see the Shastra, that time what they realized, that there are many things that Shastra provided. Or even the science today is also proving that Shastra is right. For example, if we go to Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhavishya Puran, it was so called, if we even consider it was written by some person, it was written 5,000 years ago. And at that time, which we call him as Vyasdev, and he wrote about the advent of Gautam Buddha, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and many more things. And all those things came into being, even although they were written 5,000 years ago. And you can say maybe he was someone like an Nostradamus, so what about it? So over and above that, there was Sulabha Sutra, which comes in our Vedas. So in Sulabha Sutra, which was, in that we get the Pythagoras theorem details within that, which was written way beyond before. Even if you consider it was written at some time, it was written at least you take as 16,000 years ago. Even if we say that, according to science. So even according to that, if obviously we know it is eternal, but even if we want to say it as, as per the modern times, it was written 16,000 years ago. And what does that Sulabha Sutra says? That a rope stretched along the length of the diagonals, there is a rope stretched across the diagonals, creates the same length created by the area of vertical and horizontal sides. So the diagonal is same to the vertical and horizontal, which is nothing but Pythagoras theorem. Hypotenuse square is one side square plus another side square. So we can see this in our Sulabha Sutra, which was written so many times before. As well as very legendary thing, which is embryo creation. How does a child gets formed in a womb of a mother? This thing is clearly mentioned in our Shastra in Srimad Bhagavatam, canto number 3. And in that it clearly says that in what day, what happens, what processes happen, when this consciousness comes to the baby, we say right in the 7th month the baby starts to move. That has been mentioned in our Shastra. So all these details are clearly mentioned in our Shastra, how the embryo is created. And not only that, embryo splitting or test tube baby, yes you know Dronacharya, he was born in a test tube. That's why his name was Drone. Drone means a tube or what we say, a container. And he was an Acharya, so Dronacharya. And then test tube splitting, usually embryo when it's split into to give birth to multiple babies. And this embryo splitting, which is not even possible in today's time by science, was done in previous time in Mahabharata, which was the Kauravas. So their technology was embryo splitting, which is not known even today. As well as there is more details, like as we said on our the main thing was there is a name called this one thing, archaeology. So basically, what's that? Is that in that thing? Sorry. So archaeoastronomy. So in archaeoastronomy, what happens? We can take the details of the date, month, and year, and according to that, we can go back in time where all the planets would have been. Okay, today Uranus is here, Neptune is here. So in today's date, if it is here, let's go back and let's see what's happened. So in that way, when they did that thing, they found out that all the details which is given in our Mahabharata, because it's not in a story format. It is given when Krishna went for making peacemaking. He started at Dwapar Nakshatra and he reached on Ekadasi. All these details are given. And as per that, when they mapped it, they proved scientifically that Mahabharata war actually took place. So basically, science itself proves that Mahabharata is real. And at the same time, we can also see Dwarka city, which we find, Dwarka city submerged within the water. So in that way, we can see that actually science itself, when it goes deeper, is able to prove that Shastras, what is given is actually true. So there are many more things, I can go much deeper, but actually these are the ways that Shastra actually proves, or science itself proves, that Shastra are not actually mythology. And hence it is known as timeless, because they were relevant before, they are relevant now, and they are relevant afterwards as well. And obviously the distance between sun and earth, sun and moon, earth's diameter, everything is given and they are all relevant. So this way we can see that Shastras are even relevant in today's time. Okay, fine, it sounds nice, sounds fancy on theory, but how do I know that it can solve my problems? Because that is what is very important to me. It's obvious, because if you say that this product is very good, then obviously tell me what it can help me with. That is the point. So in the same way, let's try to understand how can Shastra help to solve the problems of today's modern time society. So if we can break it down, what are the three main problems which the society faces? Like we'll try to find all the problems and we'll put it in a box. What are the problems which today's society faces?
Greed.
Sorry?
Greed is one.
Mm-hmm.
I would say selfishness as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say lack of empathy.
Mm-hmm. Good, yeah.
Anger,
Mm-hmm.
stress,
Yeah.
Anxiety.
ego,
Economical problems, yes.
ego.
Ego. More, what to say, practical ones.
Okay.
We have
War.
yes, war. Then
Disease.
and then we have these ones. What we say, poverty. We have exploitations. We have too much of
Illiteracy.
violence. Then abuse. Racism, yes, right. And then, of course, then we saw this. Then we have depression, anxiety, panics, and all those things. So the list would go on. And then we have, not everybody is, morality problems, as we all know. So there are many kind of things. But if we put them into boxes, then what we can find, there are three main categories of problems which we find. First kind of problem is basically mental problems or problems related to our mind. Like depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, and many more things, causing suicide, etc. And then second kind of problem is economical problems, which every country faces and every person has to face. And lastly, problem is morality problems. Like everything is good, but that person is not good with me. Why, I don't know. So kind of we have certain groups even, unfortunately, but yeah, they don't behave properly. Then has certain people who are working, but yeah, they are facing some other kind of problems. So in that way, we can see morality problems, economical problems, and mental problems. These are the three main problems which generally we can see majorly in today's society. So when we see what can Shastra provide as a solution for these main problems, because these are the things which everybody of us faces. So if we try to dissect that what can Shastra provide for me, then we can see that in Bhagavad Gita, 6th chapter, 3rd to 5th verse, it speaks basically about Dhyana Yoga, where we see how Krishna says controlling the mind is the essence of everything. So in that place, Krishna says that one should, one should elevate oneself using one's mind, and one should not degrade himself. And in that purpose, Srila Prabhupada says that when one does meditation, then automatically what happens? All the mental disturbing agitations comes under control. So this is what we see in our Bhagavad Gita, that just by meditation, our mental problems can be solved. And it is just not theory. Even if we see practically, there were many tests, because everybody does meditation and yoga. It's famous in East and West. Everybody agrees. So when it was tested, especially mantra meditation, because it was tested in Harvard as well as in IIT. So in both places, when they tested that when a person chants, automatically what happens? His mind comes into a equilibrium. So automatically all those disturbing thoughts and agitation really goes down. So if philosophically speaking, our in Bhagavad Gita it comes that there are three modes of nature. Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. These are the three modes of nature. And when one is in Sattva gun, one has peace, one has harmony, one is positive, one is enthusiastic, which is what we all need. It's a package which we all expect to have. Then second thing is Rajas. In Rajas we are very, very anxious, we are self-centered, we are pretty occupied, we are frustrated. So all these things come, in Rajas. And in Tamas we are lazy, we procrastinate, we go crazy and all those things. We have low self-esteem and etc. So all these things comes in Tamas. So Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Philosophically speaking, these are the three things. And when we do mantra meditation, it's said that automatically the mind is able to come to the level of Sattva Guna. That is the reason people used to say that get up early in the morning and do some meditation and mantra meditation, so that your mind is able to come to the level of Sattva. And when you start the day with Sattva Guna, obviously we say, right, if the day starts good and it stays good. So that's why when we start our day with mantra meditation, the day overall goes good, because we have peace and harmony, so that you can plan things out and you can work it out. And when we checked it scientifically, they saw that there are mental mind frequencies of left and right hemisphere of the brain. And when we do the mantra meditation, both of them get synced. So when they get synced, automatically our ability to plan improves, which is what we saw in Sattva Guna. And at the same time, there is the level of frequency. So when our level of frequency goes too low, then we become very dull, which is Tamas. And when the level of frequency goes too high, then we become too much frustrated and anxious. And when it becomes normal, then we are happy and everything is merry. So we can see that even technically we can prove about the three modes which we just spoke. So the majority of the problem where it comes because our mind is not controlled. When I say control, that means basically you are not literally controlling it like a child. It will do its own purpose, but what you do, you are able to focus it back on what's required for you to do. Like, there can be hundreds and thousands of thoughts, but from that, what is important, what is not important. You can't, control that. I want to think only this, then you will go crazy. But what happens? You are able to choose that, okay, let many thoughts come just like a child. Child can say many things, that I'm going to go there, give me this, give me that, but we don't take all words seriously. But if a child says, I'm hungry, then we take it seriously. Okay, the child needs to be treated well. So in the same way, our mind can say many things, but we know what is our goal, what I need to focus on, and according to that, I choose what I need to focus. So in that way, what happens? Automatically, you are able to bring the mind back on purposeful things. Then automatically what happens? Then all the other things goes away. Because we see today, laziness, procrastination, this is very common. We take many, New Year resolutions. But what happens after 1 week, 1 month, we leave it. Why? Because we are not able to, we don't have the determination or disciplining the mind. That's the reason what happens, mind says tomorrow. 1 day will you, 2 day will you, and then it's gone all over. So that's the reason. So, and then what happens when we are not able to do and someone says, maybe you should go to a gym or maybe you should lose some weight. We say, oh, I can't do it, I'm tired. So automatically we become demotivated, our esteem goes down. So kind of all this problem comes because the mind is not disciplined and mind is not controlled. So every problem starts with an uncontrolled mind. This is what even it says in our Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, 50th verse. Vyavasayatmika buddhi kahe kuru nandana. That you need to make your mind focus and determined in one aspect. Because if you don't have one goal, if you say that, okay, I want to buy a house, okay, I want to buy a car, okay, I want to go to India. If you want to do everything together, whatever it be your salary, you are going to be in trouble. So you need to plan that, okay, first I need to go to India. You need to do the prioritizing and planning. You can see that all the knowledge is coming together now. So planning, prioritizing, everything comes. When you have focus of mind. And when the focus comes, when you are in Sattva, as we spoke now. So that's the reason we can see how mantra meditation actually helps. So by mantra meditation, which is given in our shastras ever since, it helps us control the mind, focus the mind. And when you focus that mind, what happens? You are able to plan with calm mind. And when you have a calm mind, you can also work on it better. And hence you will be able to overcome all the problems. So just like we see in our today's time, if we simply treat the symptoms, that is not going to solve the root cause. So in the same way, if you are going to treat the symptoms, okay, I have a stomach pain, so maybe I should take some painkiller or something else. But if I am not going to treat the ulcer, it can come out in various bad ways. So you need to treat that ulcer so that all the symptoms associated with it will not come. So in the same way, the root cause is our uncontrolled mind, and its symptoms comes out as depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, and everything. So if you control the mind, automatically a peaceful and calm mind is not going to say that let me commit suicide. No, it's not possible. So that's why you need to first control the mind. And if you control the mind, automatically all your goals and your aspirations can be fulfilled. And then then comes your spiritual life as well. So in that way, it helps when you control the mind. And we can see in our Shastra what it says, that in Brihad Naradiya Upanishad it says that Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, iti shodaka angam namnam kali kalmasha nasanam natara paratara upai sarva vedeshu drishyate. It says, Lord Brahma says that this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, this 16 syllable mantra, is the mantra which I found after reading the Vedas throughout. And this is the only mantra which can help us get elevated in this age of Kali. So that is the reason. For example, if someone has, instead of 98, if he has 99 or 99.5 degree fever, he can take paracetamol and he can be chill. But if someone has 104 degrees, well, you can't take paracetamol and be calm. You need to go to a doctor and check. You need to increase your dosage or take some other medicine. So in the same way in Kali Yuga, because the dosage of disease is so high, that we need a powerful dose as well for controlling our mind. And that is the reason this Hare Krishna Mahamantra is called as one way a Mahamantra. Because this can clear all the kalmash of this Kali Yuga, all the problems of Kali Yuga. That is the reason we always chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, because this is most effective and relevant for this age of Kali. And going forward, we can see that there are economical problems and moral problems as well. So economical problems, as we also pointed out, that greed is the problem. So why is there greed? We can discuss this as a whole topic. I won't go deeper. But in Bhagavad Gita 16th chapter, Krishna speaks completely about it. So basically what happens, if we see Sri Ishopanishad, the invocation as well as the first verse gives us a clear idea. That it says Purnamada Purnamidam. This is the invocation where it says that whatever emanates from the Supreme Lord, let it be us, let it be this universe, everything is complete in itself. There is no lackage or shortage of anything. And next verse says that Isavasam Idam Sarvam. That whatever comes out is actually everything in this world belongs to Krishna, which is obvious. It is coming out from him, then it is obviously belongs to him. So it says that everything, animate or inanimate, belongs to the Supreme Lord, and one should take his own quota and not take or encroach on others' quota, knowing to whom it belongs. So if we take our quota, and if we are satisfied with that, which is what is translated as simple living, high thinking. So when we do that, and automatically what happens, there is no room for greed. But when, this is possible when spirituality is in the center. Why would I live simply? Because you can live simply when you know that there is some higher purpose. Because if there is no higher purpose, then you will only focus what is available. So when we don't have a spiritual goal, then we will obviously have a material goal and we will pursue for that. But when we have a spiritual goal, then obviously we are not going to leave our jobs or something, we will do that. But we will keep the life simple. Simple in the sense as much required. Okay, I need this much food, okay, I need to stay here, so I need this much rent and whatever. As much as required we take it, but our focus should be on high thinking, understanding what is the purpose of life, because ultimately, whether we are inquisitive or not, life makes us to become inquisitive. So it's better if we do it ourselves. Sorry. So in that way we can understand, when we have simple living and high thinking, then what happens? Then automatically we follow a spiritual process due to which this tendency to exploit doesn't come out. And when this tendency to exploit, which comes out as greed, if that is controlled, then what happens? Automatically, as we said, we won't take quote of others. We see, right? And practically we can see rich becoming richer, poor becoming poorer. This is why, because there are some majority of the people who have more access and who are able to encroach upon others' availability. And poor, they can't do anything much. So in that way we can see practically how this works. So that is the reason what happens. That is the reason we need a higher level of understanding of life. So in that way, when we do that, then automatically what happens? All the economic problems can actually be solved. And this answer for this is rooted in our moral problems, because ultimately behavior of a person is based on his character. So we can see that some people commit crimes. Everybody like us, we can sit and we can discuss and we can become better. We are happy doing this. But why are some people happy in doing crimes and spreading hate and fear and everything? So why does this happen? Root cause is basically obviously consciousness, because their consciousness is not in that level, as we said, sattva, rajas and tamas. So because of their consciousness is not at that level, so what happens? They try to find happiness in committing those things. We know that is wrong, but they are not able to understand that is wrong, because their consciousness is not that much upgraded. So that is the reason what we do. We need to understand that material problems need a spiritual solution. That is the reason. So material problems actually need a spiritual solution. You might ask, why is that? Because the consciousness which creates the problem cannot be the cause of the solution as well. We need to understand. If my consciousness is creating a problem, and if I am using the same consciousness to find a solution, it's not going to work. It's as if we are doing the same thing and expecting different result. That is not going to work. Just like, for example, if a child is very lazy and he is sitting at home, sleeping, not studying anything, that is basically tamas. And what will mother say? That get up, go, you play with your friends, do some studies, do something worthwhile. So that is basically is upgrading that consciousness to rajas. And if a child is very playful, what mother says? Go and do some studies, every time don't keep playing, what will happen to your life, do your homework. So this is sattva, doing your responsibilities. And when someone is in sattva gun, doing all the responsibilities very good, everything is happy in life, then the parents ask that, okay, maybe, let's read about Bhagavad Gita, it is very nice, we can maybe do some charity. So in that way we slowly try to connect to spirituality when we are in sattva gun, because it's obvious we need a calm and peaceful situation so that we can focus on spirituality. So in the same way we can see that the problem, if it is in lower mode like tamas, we need to come to rajas. The solution is in rajas. And if it is one is rajas, then sattva, and one is in sattva, then Suddha Sattva. So we can see that solution is always above the consciousness of the problem. So that is the reason. That is the reason, if we can say more easily, change your mindset if you want to find a solution. If you are in a problem and if you are frustrated or something, first of all you need to change the mindset, which we call think out of box. Basically you need to calm down. That is why people say, breathe, do meditation, pranayam. So when you do that, you come to Sattvaguna. And in that Sattvaguna, when you think out of box, and your consciousness is above the consciousness of the problem, and then it's a click movement and you say problem solved. Why? Because the consciousness got upgraded. So the more the consciousness upgrades, automatically the problems of life can be solved. If it is applicable for individual, when we do it at large scale at the level of community or society, it will obviously work, because this is science, this is spiritual science. So that is the reason, chanting helps, we do Harina, we do Sankirtan and all, food for life. So it helps to upgrade the consciousness of people. So we can see that how moral problems, economic problems, mental problems, everything can be solved if people adopt to upgrading their consciousness. And it becomes easier when we adopt to mantra meditation, because, trying ourselves to change ourselves, I am struggling with procrastination. I can't do much to, upskill myself. I need help of someone else. As I said, we need an authority. So that's why when we take the highest authority, of scriptures, of following mantra meditation, then what happens? All the problems get solved. Individual, as a society, and as a community as a whole. So that's the reason, chant and be happy.
Very good.
Yeah. So anybody has any questions? Any doubts? Any comments?
Prabhu, we have Shastra, right?
Mhm.
That is right. But why these days people are not reading, they are not believing?
So
Everything is there. Yeah.
the problem is when you don't accept, as I said, when you don't accept Shastra, we say Shastra. But problem is we are being fed that this is all mythology. So when you don't accept something as an authority, you won't approach it. Because you take it as familiar. You become familiar. Okay, this is some story. You take it as mythology. So what happens? That seriousness to approach it never comes. So even if someone says, we are like, okay, we hear some 2 minutes video and we are like, oh, it was nice hearing it. It remains as it was nice hearing it and nothing happens because we are not serious. We don't even think of, nobody hears first of all, reads or hears, and even if they hear, it's like it was good hearing. They never think about seriously implementing it in their life. Because that is how currently the society is, because that was the history which happened back. If we can take it a whole lecture as well, but it is what happened in the history. So that's the reason what happens, we are not taking Shastra seriously, and that is the reason what happens, now we don't have a spiritual perspective. Shastra, Bhagavan, then many of the devotees who were there, then what happens, obviously we need some authority, we need some heroes. So when we don't have a spiritual hero, what happens, we accept heroes of this world. And it can be anybody, it can be cricketer, it can be no offense to them obviously, I'm just explaining the theory, how it works. So we accept then actors, we accept cricketers and all those things. So then what happens, they are also imperfect. We can see that we can see in recent times, they also visit dham, they also visit spiritual places because they also know they need answers and they are finding it in spirituality. So they themselves are providing the answers for them. So when we don't have the right authority or the right North Star, then what happens? We follow it because we need to follow, but we are not getting a solution. So in this way what happens? Basically we are blind to spiritual knowledge. And when we don't have spiritual knowledge, obviously whatever knowledge we have is not perfect. And when we don't have perfect knowledge, the problems keep arising. And because we have not accepted this Shastra as Shastra but as mythology, then we don't even turn to it. So it's a vicious cycle. So that's the problem. So hence we need to first establish that Shastra are actually relevant and real. That is the first step. So basically we can scientifically show how Shastra are relevant and then show them how it can solve the problems. So in that way people can take it, realize and take it seriously.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I have a question. Right?
Yeah.
I believe what you said, like most of it. Just one thing I did not understand. You focused like about meditation, right? And then you focused much on mantra meditation, right? But if I look at in a different perspective, right? Mantra meditation would be like you're using an external stimuli, right? You're definitely using an external stimuli, which is mantra, to ekagra yourself, right? Where we come from. So my point is, why do we need external stimuli? Like if we say in Hindu Shastras, like your body, the God is within you, right? So everything is within you, right? So you by your own self could achieve ekagra, right? So why mantra meditation, but why not different meditation? But if we go back, like going back, this goes back around like 2000 years, more than that, right?
Yeah.
But over the, like, what we see is like evolution, everything changes with time and you change with time. So why mantra meditation still? Why not a different way of meditation? And why an external stimuli and not why yourself as you being a person ekagra yourself? That's
Yes.
two of it.
Yeah, thank you. So, as we all know, it said that even in our Shastra comes, that what we are Sat Chit and Anand. The soul itself is Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi. And our nature is eternity, knowledge and bliss. So why is it that I need help of something external when I myself am knowledge personified? And why only mantra meditation? So in that case, what happens is, for example, if I am tied with ropes, and obviously I have hands. With my hands, I can open the ropes of anybody. except me, because I'm tied myself. So I need someone else who will be able to open my hands, because anyone who is free can liberate a person who is tied. So in the same way, although I am knowledge personified, because I am under controls of sattva, rajas and tamas. So because I'm in control of the three modes of material nature, because I'm thinking I am this body, I'm not thinking that I am a soul, although I am the soul, because we see, we all want Sat Chit and Anand. We know, nobody wants to die. Everybody wants knowledge based on their own liking, and everybody wants to be happy. But unfortunately, we all die. The body dies, the soul doesn't die. But we think that I am dying. Then obviously we forget, because our brain forgets, but we forget, because we are identifying with the body. And when something bad happens to the body, somebody tells to me, or someone hits me, then I am in pain. So basically, currently I am conditioned to think myself as the body, and hence the good and bad which is happening to the body, I am thinking it to be myself, which is not true. That is why it said Maya, what it is not. Hence, I need help of someone who is not in Maya to be able to deliver me from this condition. That is the reason I am not able to wake myself up from within. Because if I want to wake myself up from within, I should be knowing what I am. The problem is I don't know what I am. That is the biggest problem. Hence, I need help from something outside me. And why only mantra meditation? The thing is, even technically speaking, or any time if you speak, the only sense organ which remains active and alive till the person dies, even in coma, the person is able to hear. Because there are many coma patients who are in coma, but when they woke up, they remember who told what. So this sense of hearing is the only thing which works the longest, and this is the only sense which will wake us up as well. Because even if a person is sleeping, I can hit him and I can try to wake him. But the most effective thing which will wake him is when I call him. That is the reason we call him always. Because when he hears something, automatically it wakes him up. So that is the reason even in our Shastra it said, the knowledge begins with hearing. So when we learn from the knowledge, hence our Shastra is known as Shruti, the knowledge which can be gained by hearing. So that's why it is mantra meditation is the most effective, because that is the first class knowledge. And mantra means what? Mantra iti mantrate. Means mantra is something which will liberate our mind. And when, as I said, as we all spoke, when we liberate our mind from the lower nature, automatically we are able to focus on what's important, and we can focus on elevating ourselves. So that's the reason we focus on mantra meditation. We need external because we are tied up ourselves, and we need mantra meditation because it's sound vibration which is able to liberate any person.
I'm satisfied with some of it, but like then, what if somebody doesn't know how to hear? If he has a hearing loss, but like when I think on it now, we can continue after just 15 minutes.
Just to add to that, there are 4 marks in Shastras. Vedic Shastras, 4 parts have been given. So Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Kriya Yoga. So what you're talking of, to know thyself, you can do it through various paths, but this is Krishna conscious movement. So this is a path of bhakti mark, path of devotion. So here mantra meditation is the ultimate, but you can always go for Jnana or Kriya if that's what suits you.
But in Jnana also you chant the holy names. In Kriya also you chant. In Karma also you do the operation. So holy name is always there.
Different paths as well, and that's what I'm saying. But yeah, but you have to believe in a supreme, right?
The devotion thing is
Devotion.
But
This is a bhakti mark, right?
Yeah.
That's why he's emphasizing.
Can I only one thing? So basically, if you know, like, if you want to watch 3 hours video, are you able to do that? Concentration, right? Focus 3 hours. Focus will be right. We can't do that. That's why if you see, that's why that if
45
you
minutes of that you have.
correct. So
Yeah.
practically we can't focus our mind 7 seconds. Itself. Like if you see the Instagram, why short we are doing like going up down. Why? Because you like in just 5 seconds.
Yeah.
You're not liking more than that.
Yeah.
So you can't focus through your mind because you're not in control. So that's why we are doing mantra chanting. This is here at least. It's the sound vibration going to your ear and then ear pass to your heart. That's the thing, because in this Kali Yuga, like this time, especially, only chanting the name only helps. Not we don't have focus. That's all.
But you could bring focus through breath because it's only way of an autonomous system that is in control of your body. Like I'm just not,
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not, but I'm saying there is other stuff and why emphasis on
No,
that.
I'm saying you can do, but you can't do like the effective the way mantra meditation. It will take more longer to realize yourself, because every time in every era there is a process, but in this era only sound vibration going to help you. You can try many process, but if you come to this, then you realize the real knowledge very easily and very right away.
There's a process we have to follow. For anybody who hasn't got a Guru Maharaj, they should get a Guru first. It's the Guru who will explain to him all these details that he is looking for. Then you got the Sadhu and Shastra. And these are the three stages you have to go through. Without a Guru Maharaj, you'll never get to Krishna. Therefore, we should all look for a Guru Maharaj and be initiated. Because without initiation, we're totally lost. And the focus is looking for an ideal Guru that will suit you. Because without that, you cannot go to Krishna. It's stated all over in the scriptures. You need a Guru first because he is your guide. He's your guide and he'll take you through all the processes. And you can ask him any questions after you've been initiated. So the first thing is to be initiated by a Guru. And the Guru, you can pick and choose. And all your questions will be answered by the Guru. The Guru is second to Krishna. He's almost like Krishna. And without that, you'll never pass that. You'll still be wandering around, asking questions. The point about it is to look for a Guru and get a Guru. I like you to do it.
So if anybody has any doubts, or else we have some couple of questions coming up from Prabhuji. If not, then we can go to the next part of the session, which is quiz, and then we can go for the answer. Yes, Prabhuji.
Find a mark in my trouser. I hurt my leg there. So, Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna.
How many of you are here for the first time? How many of you are here? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Put your hands up for those who are here for the first time.
First time.
We'd like to see you more often, okay? And you'll learn a lot as you go along. I too started, although I was in Krishna conscious a long time ago, but I joined here in 2006 in Dublin, okay? And every time I came here, you learn something new. That's the importance of coming regularly, that you learn something new. Right. I have two questions to ask, and for the first correct answer, I'll give you one Bhagavad Gita. Okay? I'll go on to the first question. Is there anything you want to ask me before I ask the question?
Ask your question.
First question is, how many brothers did Krishna have? Explain. How many brothers did Krishna have and explain? Unless the explanation is in full, you will not get a Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
7. 7 brothers.
Explain.
Seven. Explain.
Because when Krishna took birth, he was the 8th child of Devaki, mother Devaki, and father Vasudeva. So before him, there were 7 children that Vasudeva and Devaki gave, which were killed by 6 were killed by your sons, and 7th was Lord Balaram. He got transferred into the womb of Mother Rukmini. Rohini, sorry.
Rohini.
So according to this, it is he has 7 brothers.
Yeah. What happened to the first 6?
Consecrated all of them.
Okay, all right. That makes it 7, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Why will Balaram considered one of the brothers?
Because because Maya Devi transferred Lord Balaram from Mother Devki's womb to Mother Rohini's womb, and Rohini was also another wife of Lord Vasudev, father of Lord Krishna. So he is considered. That's why, because of these two reasons, he's considered as the father, brother of Lord Balaram or Krishna.
Okay, the answer is totally correct. You will be entitled to one of the Bhagavad Gita. Can I ask you one more question?
Jai Ho.
The audience, whole audience? It's 8, okay? And you explained it very well. Okay, thank you very much.
Jai Ho.
Can I ask one other question in line with this? What was the last request Devaki made to Lord Krishna in Mathura? He made a request. What was it?
Like.
If you don't answer, it doesn't matter because I have your book is here.
I can try. Most probably I'll be wrong, but still I want to try.
Anybody else can answer that? No, if you can't, go ahead. Yeah.
Last request was like when Krishna showed him her
In Mathura, yeah.
showed her four-handed form, his original form. So then Mother Devki told to ask him to come in your childish form so that I can see you as my child, not as a Lord.
No, that's not the answer I'm looking for. When Krishna met Devaki in Mathura, and at this stage Krishna is 16 years old, what was the request she put on? What did she ask him to do?
You always say like in this
Give me sorrow always, like give me sadness. Give me sadness like in my life so that I can remember you always.
No,
She
that's not the
wanted to
answer.
see Krishna like in the present form, in her own life.
No.
There were two switches last, I don't know. One was she wanted her 6 sons back, and one was she wanted to see their childhood pass on because she missed it.
Yeah. Okay, the first one is why did she want to see the 6 sons? I'm sure you'll be able to answer that. Why did she want to see the 6 sons? Is the reason why he asked to see the 6 sons, and there's a reason. Yes, go ahead.
Because she wanted to know why these, she knew 8th one was Lord himself. So she wanted to know who these 6 children were, basically. So why they got killed?
No, actually the answer is she wanted to embrace them, and she wanted to suckle them. She wanted to feed them. And then after that, okay? That's it. Okay. The second question is also based on Krishna, okay? What is Krishna? I was told before that I was asking two difficult questions. I'll make this quite simple. What is the name, what's the full name of Krishna? Now, that's a simple one. I can't go any more simpler than that. What is the full name of Krishna? Unless you give me the full name, I will give you this book. There. Now, you yes.
Krishna Vasudev Yadav. Krishna Vasudev Yadav. He was a Yadav.
That's right. Yes, that's correct. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Babaji. Thanks, and Mataji, for being patient. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So we can move on to our next part of the session, which is Anti.
Let's thank Giridhar Prabhu for the wonderful class by saying Hari Bol 3 times. Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Let's thank His Grace
Giridhar Prabhu ki!
for the quiz. Haribol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Jaya Panchatattva Jayo Panchatattva Jayo Jayo Kiva Jayo Jayo Gaurachande Arati Koshobha Kiva Jayo Kiva Jayo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityananda जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोदश श्री श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चंडाल भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोदश श्री श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत ठाकुर श्रील प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की रामाचार्य श्री हरदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभुतानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरव भक्त वृंद की षडगो स्वामी प्रभुगण की वर्तमान आचार्य वृंद की श्री श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिवर्धन धाम की ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की नवदीप श्री मायापुर धाम की श्री क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की गंगा माई यमुना माई की भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की साम्य गौर भक्तवृंद की ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की नाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की पिता गौर प्रेमानंदे all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada ki.
Hare Krishna, everyone can sit down for Narasimha prayers. Namaste Narasimhaya. भक्त शिरोमणि श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की जय, जगत गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, जय गौर प्रेमानंद, हरि हरि बोल। After prasadam prayers, you can proceed to prasad downstairs and go with us.
Prasadam prayer, please.
महाप्रसाद देखो। मान लो सो।
महाप्रसादे गोविन्दे राम ब्राह्मणी वैष्णवे स्वल्पपुण्यात्मं राजन् विश्वासनै प्रजायते Hare Krishna. Thank you everybody for coming. So we can proceed for prasadam. Hare Bol.
आप भी सीधा ही कोई रानी।
ये लाइन का बोल रहे हो ना?